Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Highruler, and today's video is going to be talking about kind of my frustrations with Suicide Squad because I've given them a lot of grace since the game has come out. Obviously, it's Rocksteady's first real foray into the live service online gaming sphere, and I think just with that, there is a lot of grace that has to be given because a lot of this stuff is very complicated. But we are almost a month from the early access launch, and there are some things that are just starting to become unacceptable at this point from a consumer standpoint. And once again, before I even dive deep into any of my real frustrations here, I'm not a game developer. I'm not a QA. I work customer support. So obviously, I take a lot of the brunt of frustrations from other people. So I know what it's like to deal with very frustrated people. And with that being said, I've tried very hard to look at everything with regards to this situation and just kind of be understanding and to give them grace. And yesterday's patch kind of broke me on that because, obviously, if you look back to January 30th, the game got off to a very rocky start with their servers, and people still haven't been able to play the game since January 30th. And now we're dealing with so many other things that are happening, and it's just now starting to get to the point where I'm just wondering if I'm reliving my past over again. We've just changed the car, but the car still has the same issues, and it's just now kind of getting to the point where I'm wondering how much is this even worth as someone who plays games, enjoys games. Like, is this going to be the forever future of Suicide Squad, much like Avengers, where the start was really rocky, they weren't able to get their feet under them, and even when they had content drops, you weren't really excited about the content drops because every content drop came with a bunch of new issues and new things, and it just became a death spiral almost. And that's not to say Rocksteady and Suicide Squad can never get its feet under them from this. They definitely can, and Rocksteady is talented enough to do it, but it's just now starting to get frustrating. So for anyone who doesn't know, the patch yesterday came out and it's introduced a new bug. And I'm going to show Lejeune's stream from yesterday here for you guys. And all of his stuff is in the description below. And make sure you guys go follow him, because at the end of this mission, his stuff is now basically bugged, like many of you guys who are posting on social media and Twitter and Discord and Reddit, where you're having the loading in Metropolis bug. And that is just brutal, because what happens is almost like an infinite loading screen at this point. And there's also progression wipes happening when it comes to raising hell, I believe it is. Like, there's just so many things happening with this game now. And this patch on paper did a lot of things right. It fixed a lot of things that they wanted to fix. But the problem is that once you have an issue like this, or two issues like the ones I've described, every good thing you did with that patch has instantly become invalidated. Because if you can't enjoy those fixes from a consumer standpoint, from a player standpoint, anything that is inhibiting your experience is now instantly the worst thing ever. And that's just kind of the way it is, right? So now that is two patches that Rocksteady have put out with two major L's. The first one, while they have said that, of course, they had to do their burn adjustment because of the way it was working, and whatever, that's fair. That's their prerogative at that point. But when you have major issues that people are experiencing, adjusting anything that works beneficially for the players is just a major L in the optics side of it. And that's just kind of the way it works. I'm sorry, but as someone who experiences this stuff from my side of things, people get very frustrated when you fix something that they're enjoying, that they're experiencing, and then they go to their subreddits, their Discord communities, their Twitters, and they're like, oh, this got fixed. And then you have someone right under that reply being like, well, I still can't play the game. Because then it's like, what are you doing, right? And of course, there are many people working on this game, as I said, and they have different teams, and they've come out and said that it just looks bad, right? And then you have this patch, right, which is now a week after, and you kind of go into details, you fix all this stuff, and there's all these things changing, and people can't even play missions, and they get locked in these loading screens, and there's progression things happening, and it's just like, why even bother at this point? What you're doing is actually pushing people away from this game. And there's been so many conversations and discussions about, the player numbers and player retention and the rest of it. And this is just not good, right? And I don't know who's to blame at Rocksteady for this. I don't know if it's, management kind of pushing these fixes out super quick. Like if they're pushing a patch together and they're compiling it and then a couple days later it hits our systems. Like, is that enough time to really test the patch extensively? Is QA getting enough time? Is QA being given enough resources to find these things and kind of report them back? Like, I don't really know the process here, but when you have this widespread issues that are happening, and once again, if you go to the subreddit, if you go to streamers, you go to anybody who's playing this game, they are knowing someone who is experiencing this issue, if not experiencing it themselves. And that to me is a pretty widespread issue. And like, what is happening here? I'm just losing my patience and I'm losing my grace I've been giving Rocksteady here. I've had this progression issue since pretty much the first week. So really, all my progression has been happening through multiplayer. I am not one of the worst ones affected. I still think the people who are not able to play the game whatsoever are affected. But I'm kind of up there, I would think, right? And now you have people who just want to play the game who are running into this progression issue and they're, not able to load their kind of end game reports. They're, again, this killing time progression issue. And it's just, what is happening here? And I'm just getting frustrated. I feel like the people who enjoy live service superhero games are going to be doomed to these experiences, right? Like, it's just at to the point now where, like, what are we doing? And I just don't know. And this is more of a rant than any sort of informative video or anything like that. So, I mean, you can kind of just dismiss this as someone who is very frustrated. But I think my frustration is probably felt by a lot of you guys as well. And I think there's a lot of us out here who are just wondering, like, what did we spend our money on, And once again, this isn't targeting single individual Rocksteady employees who are working 8, 10, 12-hour shifts. I mean, for those guys, I feel for them, and this, once again, isn't a means to kind of attack those people on Twitter or social media, because those guys are probably just as frustrated, if not more frustrated than us, because they want to put out a product that people are able to enjoy, right? That's always what you want to do. When you put out a product into the public, you want people to use it, enjoy it, and just have fun with it. So I get it. I get from their side of things. So I'm not attacking anybody, and I'm not attacking any of the developers who I've talked with privately. It's just one of those things where I'm so frustrated right now. I want to play Suicide Squad on my day off. I get a couple days off a week, and I want to spend that time playing Suicide Squad because I genuinely like the game. I like Harley Quinn. I like a lot of that. I like King Shark. I like the movement, the weapons, the rest of it. But there is just so much here that is blocking myself and the enjoyment of this game. And it's just, when is that all going to be fixed? And it's just frustrating. And that's really what it comes down to. So I don't really have much else to say. I'm just frustrated. I'm frustrated for myself. I'm frustrated for you guys. I'm frustrated watching this whole thing unravel in front of us. And I hope somewhere down the line, this is fixed, we can move on, and we can finally just start enjoying the game. And it's problems like these that feed into the negative narratives that have, been plaguing this game since it probably was announced, and then later on, and then since, a couple weeks before the game was even launched. And it's just, this does nothing to no one. And it's just brutal at this point. So that's really all I got for you guys today. If you guys want more videos of me ranting, I guess, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a nice little comment. And I'll see you guys next time here. As always, enjoy the rest of your day and the night. Take care of yourselves. Later, guys.